Survivor 49 has officially come to a close, and what an unpredictable season it was all the way through, especially with a player like Sophie or Blue Soap, whatever you want to call her. I'm so excited to be speaking with her. She's our runner up for the season. Hi, Sophie. How are you?
Hi, I'm so good. I feel like I'm on cloud nine. I feel like that was a great finale, and I'm so happy right now.
Yeah. My first question for you is, from consistent losing tribe from the beginning to runner up, how do you feel all in all?
I just feel so proud of myself because not only did I come from the disaster tribe, I went through the most tribal councils out of anybody. I voted the most people out of my season. I got myself into an alliance that helped me through two swaps, but then we were still at the bottom at the first vote at the merge. So I feel like I never caught a break in this game until I won the final immunity. That was the first real win that I had. And it was a full circle moment for real because I feel like I was on my hands and knees. I never stopped working from day one of that game. And I finally had one tribal where I was like, oh, I actually feel pretty good right now. I'm going to
Mhm.
be okay. And so it was incredible. I feel like I needed that so bad just for my own morale. And
Sure.
I needed to feel like I could do this. I know I could do this, but like I actually did it. And then I made that big move in putting my best friends in fire. And it was hard to do, but I knew that it was necessary. And I'm glad that I did it, even though I still feel bad to this day.
Hey, you know what? A game is a game and you're up for $1 million, right? So,
Yeah.
um, leading into Final Tribal, something that really like stuck with me, and I don't know why, but it stuck with me is you talked about what you were calling like social flexibility and like the strength of your social game. So, can you talk to that a little bit? Because I will say, as a viewer, I feel like one thing we missed was in the edit was maybe like all of your social relationships and how you kind of navigated the game in that way.
Yeah, and I'm glad that they showed a lot of the jury's reactions to anything I said at Tribal because them laughing, them being receptive to what I was saying is a testament to the relationships that I had with them. And a lot of the moves that me, Rizzo, and Savannah were able to accomplish were done because of those relationships that I had, getting the information that they weren't willing to tell Sav and Rizzo because they didn't trust them. They wanted to get Savannah out from the beginning. But they were able to give me the information, and from that, we were able to maneuver through everyone. And we were able to kind of use people like Sage, Jawan to have them flip flop on their allies. And I hate to say it, but like we did. I feel like I'm a big reason why we were able to manipulate them because with the information I was getting from the other side, I was bringing it to the table and we were able to strategize on like what we were going to do next. And so there were secret alliances that were never shown, like between me and Jawan, me and Sage, where it didn't make really sense to the audience why we were able to get them to turn on some people, but it was a lot because they trusted me and they thought that always that I was going to flip on Sav and Rizzo. And a lot of times that wasn't the case. That was just me playing the middle.
Mhm.
And me playing the middle, I feel got us to the end. Like
Yeah.
they could have taken Rizzo and Sav out like this one by one. I mean, Sav did win immunities. She did it. But they could have voted Rizzo out at any moment. And I feel like without honestly, all three of us pulled our weight in that trio. All of us did. And I don't think if any one of us was missing, we wouldn't have gone as far. So the fact that one of us won, I'm so proud of that. And it still feels like me and Rizzo kind of won too because we did that. Like we
Yeah.
came back from a 7-3 minority and we got to the end. And we
Yeah.
could have easily been the final three as well, but I kind of ruined that.
Hey, you had to make a game move, right? So,
I did, I know. And I stand on it too. I back
yeah.
that decision.
And you should,
Yeah.
and you should. Speaking of game moves, something that social media specifically had a lot to say with you was with your knowledge is power, choosing to ask Steven instead of
Yes.
taking Rizzo's idol, knowing that he had it. Can you kind of walk me through that decision and maybe how you felt then,
Yeah.
and maybe if your thoughts have changed now?
So obviously, if I knew Steven's advantage was untakeable, the right move is Rizzo's idol. Like hindsight's 2020 for everybody. Watching it from the couch is easy to say that was the right decision to make. But I'll tell you why I did what I did. So after Christina played her idol on Steven, I knew that the only thing left in the game for me to take with my advantage was Rizzo's idol. And he was my best friend in the game at that point with Sam. But I had already come to terms with that. Like, that's going to be my big move. I'm just going to time it correctly. I wanted to do it at the last possible moment, which was six. And I set everything up perfectly. And part of my game was actually convincing Rizzo not to use the idol because he almost did several times. For example, the Jawan vote, he almost used it instead of the extra vote that we used.
Mm,
But I told him not to, and he didn't because as long as Rizzo had an idol in the game, I had an idol in the game because I could take it at any moment, but I didn't really need it. Like my social game was so strong that I didn't need it. Yes, it would have been great for a flashy move, but my issue was Rizzo wasn't as big of a threat in the game at this point as Steven was. And so I thought I was scared that if I took his idol, he would have been voted out instead of Steven.
Mhm.
And honestly, with our jury, that wouldn't have been as great of a move as it did getting Steven out. And so I wanted credit for getting Steven out by taking his advantage and voting him out because at that point, if that would have worked, I would have felt comfortable sitting next to my friends at a final three because I had the underdog story. I had that start, and I would have felt like that was the last thing. And I had all those connections with the people in the jury. I think
Mhm.
better than Sav and Rizzo did. Like I think I was better liked. So I think yes, it was the less more subtle move, but I think the jury would have respected me keeping the knowledge is power secret. And had it worked on Steven, I think it would have been a good move regardless. So
Yeah. And I think it speaks to the like kind of strong player you are, I guess is what I'm trying to say, by kind of thinking about jury management, right? Because I think that's a really important piece that a lot of viewers miss a lot of the time is like every jury is different and they prioritize different things. And so I think you thinking about that shows how strong of a player you are, which is great. Now,
yeah,
one of my favorite moments in the finale, honestly, was you winning that final immunity challenge. My jaw was on the floor. I did not expect that. To be honest,
yeah,
I thought the edit was kind of leading to Savannah breaking the female record and winning that fifth one. And when you won,
yeah.
I was so excited. And then to
I
hear
know.
just, more about your kind of personal story with your grandmother, can you just kind of walk me through those feelings and emotions in the moment and maybe just how proud of that you were?
Oh my God. I mean, I started watching the show with my grandma. We had it was kind of something that got us through when she was sick with dementia because we had watched it since I was a kid and like it was one of her favorite things to actually watch when she was sick and I started applying for Survivor to give her like an extra special season of the show to watch with me on it. But unfortunately I got on it like after she passed and stuff. So I've always after she passed looked for ways to connect with her and watching Survivor kind of did that, but actually playing Survivor, I've never felt more connected to her in my life. And for that reason, the experience was priceless for me. And I know for a fact that she's somewhere super proud of me. She's just dancing in her grave knowing that Jeff Probst knows who she is. And so I am just, the fact that I could do that for us, because I felt like I did it for us, I played this game for her, was everything to me. And
Mhm.
I know that even though I didn't win, she would have been proud. And so, yeah, winning that final immunity, getting to shout her out, it was just a full circle moment for me. I feel like it all led to that moment, and I was meant to win that and put
Yeah.
myself in the final three. So, yeah, it was amazing. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. I love that. You kind of alluded to this a few minutes ago, but you often in the edit kind of contemplated switching sides from Rizzo and Savannah, maybe turning on one of them, and you stayed loyal to them all the way until the final four. Why was it important for you to stay loyal to them up to that point? And then why was it important for you to kind of turn on them in that moment and make that kind of quote unquote selfish decision or game decision?
So it was important to me, but at the same time, I was always willing to make the move had I had the opportunity. Like, for
Mm,
example, at six and at five, I was ready to flip on Savannah, but she was such that she would win every time she needed to. Like, if Sav hadn't won at six, I would have taken Rizzo's idol and voted her out. Like, I don't care. I know what it looks like that I had margaritas and tacos and I changed my mind. I was still going to take Rizzo's idol, like
yeah.
on God. And you guys know how, spiritual I am, but like I was going to do that, but she won immunity. So I couldn't do that. And like at that point, I was like, why am I going to turn on them now? Rizzo's not as big of a threat as Steven. Let me get Steven out. And then at five, they didn't show mine and Christina and Sage's relationship, but me and Christina were working on the puzzle together at Final Five Immunity Challenge because we wanted either me or her to win because we wanted to vote Savannah out at five. But again, she won when she needed to, and she didn't even know she really needed to because I don't think Sav knew I was going to flip on her.
Mm,
So, yeah, so that's a testament to Sav's game too. And, but yeah, I was going to flip on them when the right time came. I just never really had the best opportunity. And so I'm glad I got my moment at final four to like make that move just to show that like I was playing for myself, not just for this trio. Because a lot of the moves I made benefited us three as a whole. Um, but this kind of like showed the jury like, no, this is my game. I'm playing for myself, and so yeah.
yeah, yeah, I respect everything you just said, and thank you for sharing that with me because it is interesting. Sometimes we don't get the full player perspective while watching the season. Of course, there's only so many minutes
No,
per
no.
episode. Um, okay, One thing I really have loved about you throughout the season is I do feel like you're very genuine. I think throughout this season, whatever emotion you were feeling, I think that was you and your truest self. And that was especially true when Jeff was reading off the final votes and he was reading off, your name twice. I felt like you were
Mhm.
like really shocked by that. So I'm
Yeah.
curious, were there any votes that you were surprised to get and any votes you were surprised to not get?
So, I mean, I'm a super fan of Survivor. I'm also a very self-aware person. And when Sav won Fire, I was like, okay, I'm not winning this game. Like, there's no shot. She won 4 immunities. She's tied the record. She's also won a reward. She won Fire. Like, what else does this girl got? So I knew it was going to be an uphill battle. I knew I had a good shot next to Rizzo, but when Sav won, I went into Final Tribal with a realistic perspective, but knowing that I was going to give it all I got. Like, I wasn't just going to let her win. And I did, and there's a lot that was edited out, but I had a really good final tribal performance, so much so that Nate, Joanne, Steven, and Alex told me that they were 50-50. And
Mm.
also, before Jeff read the votes, Savannah turned to me and she goes, you just won the game. Like, she was convinced that I won. And so I was like, what the? Like, I was shocked at like that I was able to do that. And I'm also just really hard on myself always in my personal life and on Survivor. Like, I've always like even underestimated myself, and so I was kind of maybe projecting that other people were doing the same. And
Sure.
so I didn't expect to get MC and Christina's votes. That meant the world to me that I swayed them. And so I was genuinely surprised. Like, yeah, sitting next to someone like Sav, I would think would get all the votes. So the
Yeah.
fact that I got two and I got second place, like, I'm really proud of myself. So
Yeah, you should be. And I think we're all hard on ourselves, right? Like we're human. That's what we're going to do. We're always going to be our worst critic. I will say, I actually also thought after the final tribal, like questions and stuff were over, I thought you were going to win. I thought that's what was happening. I was
wow.
very like torn up about it. I was like, this is crazy. So,
Wow,
okay,
wow.
you did play such an incredible game and you were runner up of this season. And I think a lot of people would enjoy seeing you come back. Would you ever consider returning for another season?
Of course, like, I would go back in a freaking second. And it's so funny because when you're out there, you're like, this is the hardest thing ever. But I don't. I feel like it's, and I've never had a kid, but I feel like it's probably what it's like having a kid. It's like in the moment, so hard, so painful. But when you're out of it, you look back in hindsight, like, just with these positive emotions,
Mhm.
and I would go back in a freaking second. Like, if they asked me for 50, I would have been there. But now I get to be my best friend's cheerleader and I'm so excited. And now it's like, okay, I lost. I'm the last part of the Tres Leches that hasn't come back to return. So who knows? Maybe in the future they'll have me. I'll be there.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Okay, and so you just kind of teased that for a second, but I am curious, what are your thoughts on 50? How excited are you?
oh my God. I mean, I'm a super fan of the show. Like, I was excited about it even before I was cast on 49. So the fact that I have two best friends on it now to root for, it's like, it's a dream come true. I got second best thing on my season, and this is the second best thing on 50. Like, if I'm not going to be on it, at least my two best friends are. I already got a lot of the tea on it. It's going to be a good season. So, but I'm just excited to be their cheerleader. I'm so happy for them.
Yeah, yeah. So I feel like I know the answer based off how you're talking about them, but I do want to clarify. So you, Rizzo, and Savannah remain close, even maybe against kind of that in-game tension.
Yeah, there we talk every single day. Riz God's partner, Liz God, is one of my best friends. So is Sav's boyfriend Brandon. Like, we're all so close, and like, we're planning a trip to Europe. Like, they've come stayed with me in Miami in my house. Like, our families are close now. It's like we're legit friends, and if I didn't win, I'm glad that I made these friendships, because genuinely that's priceless to me. Someone like me, like, that means everything.
Yeah, no, that makes all the sense in the world. Well, Sophie, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. Congrats on runner up. Congrats on such a
Thank you,
great
Blake.
season. And I really hope to see you return in the future with that blue
Thank you.
cardigan.
Oh yeah, iconic, right? But thanks, Blake. I appreciate that. That means so much to me. Seriously.